Hey guys, Jo here of SportsGrid. It's time for Puck It with Jo. We have 6 games on the slate today, plenty of opportunities to make some money. Happy Monday, everyone. I appreciate each and every one of you for already jumping in here. Bruins first period for Jo. Okay, it's going to be a hard first period. The Winnipeg Jets have been playing absolutely phenomenal. Just looking for a pen. You guys know that I have pen issues in my house, but here we go. We found one. Let's jump into the first game here. I hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. I also want to let you guys know I will be live on Game Time Decisions. That's going to kick off at well, it's kicking off at 6, but I will be on at 6:25, so make sure you come over and join us over there as well. Let's jump into this first game here. We are going to firstly talk about the matchup between the Winnipeg Jets and the Boston Bruins. Now, current odds, all odds over at FanDuel, you got the Winnipeg Jets on the road at plus 120, minus 144 here for the Boston Bruins. Now, that total is at 5.5. You're laying minus 124 to the under 5.5, and you're getting plus money to the over at plus 102. This is one where I'm really looking at that first period and this game. I do think this is a lower scoring one. You look at the Winnipeg Jets and how strong this team has been at limiting their opponent's ability to get these goals. And they've been absolutely phenomenal. Their last 14 games, they've held their opponents to 2 or less goals. And I do think this is a game here where the Boston Bruins are really going to struggle to score on Connor Hellebuck. Now, over the last couple games, we've seen the defense allow more shots to come in. The last meeting, we saw the Winnipeg Jets have 33 shots on the Boston Bruins, and the Boston Bruins only get 25 shots. I'm expecting the Winnipeg Jets to lock down like we saw in that last meeting. That was back in December, and the Winnipeg Jets actually won that one 5-1. I do think Boston's going to come out and play tight defensively, especially after what Winnipeg was able to do to them last time. Now, Swayman will be in goal for them. He's got a 2.37 goals against average and a 0.923 save percentage. When I look at this matchup here, we saw Boston have a huge day versus Montreal their last game out. I don't expect that out of them here. So I'm nervous to take the Boston Bruins in the first period, Jo, like you're saying, because I do think Boston really gets limited in this game. I'm taking their team total under 2.5, you guys. And yeah, it is risky. It's coming in at plus 130, but I don't see this being a 3-2 style game. I think this is a 2-1 style game out there on the ice. Now, I do think Winnipeg is live here on the road. I think they have every opportunity of pulling off that upset win. And I'm going to take that first period under 1.5. The first period under 1.5 is coming in at minus 122. If you want to bet that no goal in the first 10 minutes, that's coming in at plus 112. And I do like that. Again, like I said, I think defense is locked down. I would rather take the under 2.5 for the Boston Bruins and the first period under 1.5 than this full game. Under the 5.5 just because of the empty net situation. I just don't want to be caught with that. So that is where I'm going with this one. We're going to look at that Devils game in just a minute. You're looking at the Devils on the money line over the Vegas Golden Knights. But big shout out to each and every one of you for joining us. The under. Yeah, you got to look at that under. And that's why I really like that first period. I really do think that first period is the lower scoring where the defenses and goaltenders really step up. So let's look at the next matchup here. So because I'm looking for a low scoring one, I'm not going to look at any player props in that. We're going to look at the Vegas Golden Knights and the New Jersey Devils. Now, the odds on this one, the Vegas Golden Knights at plus 104, the New Jersey Devils at minus 125, total of 6.5. Now, it's juiced to that under at minus 134 to the under and plus 110 to the over in this one. If I was going to take a total in this, I would take it to that over. I just don't trust the New Jersey Devils defensively to really limit Vegas. And now Vegas is still without Jack Eichel, but Mark Stone has been so impactful. The amount of assists he's been able to get on the board has just been absolutely insane. And I do think 4-3 style game here because we know the New Jersey Devils should be able to score in this one. It's the first night of a back-to-back here for the Vegas Golden Knights. They've got the New York Islanders on deck tomorrow, and then the Rangers on Friday and the Red Wings on Saturday. So they've got 2 back-to-backs coming up. which is definitely a hard situation for the Vegas Golden Knights. I was trying to play around with some team totals here, just like trying to work out which team I trusted more to go over their team total. Vegas, I like their team total to the over, 2.5, but it's too highly juiced at -178, so I couldn't get there. The over 3.5 for the team total for the New Jersey Devils. I'm not sure if I like though. It's +126, but like I said, 4-3 style game, and I am leaning on Vegas to be able to get the win. So I'm going to take Vegas here on the money line to pull off the upset on the road over the New Jersey Devils. Again, this team I'm just not really trusting. They've got a road trip on deck. They've got the Carolina Hurricanes. And then that's on Thursday. And then they do have the Friday game versus the Tampa Bay Lightning as well. Vanacek is in goal for them, and his numbers just are not adding up nicely. He's got a 3.22 goals against average and a 0.887, or sorry, a 0.885 a save percentage. Now, as long as Vegas plays a clean game, because we know the New Jersey Devils will be able to capitalize on the power play. Their power play is connecting at 26.9%, fifth best overall in the league. We do have a strong kill here out of the Vegas Golden Knights, but I do expect the Devils to be able to convert. So we need a strong game out of Vegas and a clean game as well. So Jack Eichel's still out, but when we look at the New Jersey Devils, we still got Jack Hughes out of the lineup and a Dougie Hamilton, which is one of their defensive players. So I do like this one to the over. Okay, let's look at the next one here. Oh, and looking to that over, just a couple of trends for you guys with the over. We are seeing New Jersey Devils home games sitting 14-8 to that over, and the Knights. You just look at their last couple of games, last three games, they've scored a total of 12 goals in those three. And when we look at the New Jersey Devils defensively, I really do think they're giving up so many high danger chances to their opponents as of late. So it's Vegas for me and the over, you guys. Let's look at the Florida Panthers versus the Nashville Predators. Now, the Florida Panthers have been on a losing streak, you guys. They've lost their last four. They've been at home. So they lost that last one to the Minnesota Wild 6-4. This team needs to get back on track. This is a one-off road trip. They have the Arizona Coyotes on deck on Wednesday. This one-off road trip could be a win for them. It's a dad's trip. I think this team is going to be partying after. I might fade them in their next matchup versus the Arizona Coyotes. If they come out and get a big win here, I expect these dads and the Suns to go out in Nashville tonight and have a huge party night. So I'm not going to fade them tonight. I do think Florida could get back on track. So let's look at current odds on this one. The Florida Panthers at -130, that juice. I just hate the juice that they're giving us there, but I do think it's the right side. +108 here for the Nashville Predators, total of 5.5. -140 to the over 5.5, and I do think it goes over that total. I really do like what I've seen out of the Nashville Predators as of late, but they did lose that last game to the Arizona Coyotes 3-2 on a Saturday. They have a road trip on deck coming up on Thursday. Forsberg and Ryan O'Reilly been playing so strong out of them there. They have won the last two meetings versus the Florida Panthers, so this team knows how to beat them. Saros, though, you look at him in his career versus Florida, he's gone 3-6 in his 10 games versus the Florida Panthers. He's got a 2.88 goals against average, so he doesn't allow a lot of those goals to come in. But I look at this battle here, and I expect the Florida Panthers to really step up offensively. With them losing their last four, defense will crack down as well. So I do expect a tight defensive game once it gets into their zone. But I do expect offensively these players wanting to really impress their dads out there on the ice. Now, I have seen a lot of pictures of Brandon Montour and his dad taking off for this trip. So I'm going to look at Brandon Montour here for that anytime goal. You guys know he's a top offensive defenseman, and I love what he did last playoff run, how impactful he was able to be. Looking at him the last time he played the Predators, he had a goal and he's had an assist in the last three games versus them. So you could look at him for the assist here. You're going to get still good value on the assist, but I do like that anytime goal at +650. It's just screaming at me. We're seeing his shots on goals, his shots on goal trend up. Those numbers are getting growing game in and game out. So this is a value play on Montour, looking to impress his dad out there at +650. I can't say no. And then the other Florida Panthers player I'm circling is Sam Bennett for the anytime goal. That's coming in at plus 230. We know how impactful he has been. He's got 5 goals and 3 assists in his last 10 games, and he's getting a lot more playtime with Barkov out of the lineup. So I do expect Sam Bennett to continue his trend of getting that puck in the back of the net in this game, and the Florida Panthers to be able to get it done. Yeah, Dad's Day. It's going to be really interesting. And Stolarz, yes, is in net, not Bobrovsky tonight for them. Stolarz coming in here with a 2.22 goals against average and a 0.912 save percentage. We look at the Florida Panthers and their ability to get these shots on net, averaging 34.1 shots on goal per game, second best overall in the league, is so impressive to me. The power play is converting at 22.1%. The Nashville Predators kill isn't great. It's at 77.6%. The kill is nice and strong for the Florida Panthers at 81.6, and they're locking down strong defensively, limiting those opponents' ability to get those shots on goal. Second best overall in the league at 27. Now, if you want to take player props for the Nashville Predators, I don't blame you in this. Philip Forsberg and Ryan O'Reilly, like I said, these are the two players I would turn to if you're looking at that. I would look at the anytime goals before you look at those shots, because I do think the Florida Panthers play such a hard game tonight. They've got to break this losing streak, you guys. Like I said, the last 4 games they have lost, and now they're in front of their dads. They're in Nashville. This team needs a reason to party tonight. This win will be their reason to party in Nashville. Well, no one needs a reason to party in Nashville. It will make the partying a lot more fun tonight in Nashville. I could see the Florida Panthers taking that first period on the puck line as well. So I would look there as well. Under all games today. You guys are going under all games. It's an interesting way to take that for the under in all games. Okay, let's look at the next one here. The Pittsburgh Penguins taking on the Arizona Coyotes. The Pittsburgh Penguins minus 154 on the money line. The Arizona Coyotes at plus 128. Now that total is 6.5. Plus 110 to the over, minus 134 to the under. I'm loving what I'm seeing out of Connor Ingram, the goaltender for the Arizona Coyotes. Now, when we look at the matchup between these two, the Pittsburgh Penguins have won the last 11 meetings here, so really hard to step in front of them and take the Arizona Coyotes, but I am a little interested in them in this matchup. I do think, because there's no value on the puck line here right now. If you look at the Arizona Coyotes on the puck line, plus 1.5, it's minus 192. I can't go there, but they've covered the puck line in their last 4 games overall. This team is playing hard hockey. They're sitting 10 and 13 on that puck line at home. A lot of these cases, they were not the dogs. So I want to live bet this one and I do think the Pittsburgh Penguins will go up to start this game. If the Pittsburgh Penguins go up, and then you're getting more value on that puck line for the Arizona Coyotes, even if the Pens go up 2 and you're getting plus 2.5 for the Arizona Coyotes, at value, I'm not hating it, because this team never gives up and they fight so hard. And Connor Ingram, like I said, he's been so hot. He's actually the better goalie. Jari's expected here for the Penguins. He's got a 2.5 goals against average. While you look at Connor Ingram, no one's talking about this hockey goalie. He's got a 2.49 goals against average. His save percentage is a 0.919. Well, the save percentage of Jari is 0.915. So similar out here on the ice. I do give the edge to how hot Connor Ingram has been. They got the win over the Predators on Saturday. It was a 5-3 win. And you look here at the Penguins coming into this one. They lost that last game to the Vegas Golden Knights. It was a hard game. 3-2 loss in that one. Now the Panthers are on deck for the Pittsburgh Penguins at home on Friday, and then they have the Montreal Canadiens on Saturday. Looking here at those Arizona Coyotes, they have the Panthers on deck as well Wednesday on the road. So, this is going to be a hard one, because we have seen the Penguins cover the last 5 versus the Arizona Coyotes as well. But this Coyotes team, I tell you, there's something about them right now. I would look at live betting this one, and that's the only way I'm going to take a side here, because I'm not getting enough value on the puck line for the Arizona Coyotes at this point. But if we see Sidney Crosby, Erik Karlsson, someone like that come out and get that quick goal, we're going to get more value. Even at plus 1.5, if I'm getting that closer to minus 120, that's where I will hit on the Arizona Coyotes. So wait for that if you're going to live bet it with me. Sidney Crosby for the anytime goal for the Penguins is coming in at plus 120. I like longer shots. You guys know that. Eric Carlson here, you're getting him at plus 420 for the anytime goal. For the assist, he's coming in at minus 106. So I like that. He's an offensive defenseman. He's averaging like right around that 23-minute mark. He is on the number one power play. So I do think the assist is coming for him tonight, but I could see that anytime goal. When we look at him, he's had an assist in 4 games straight and in 7 of the last 8. So those assists have been rolling in. On the Arizona Coyotes side, you guys know where I go. Clayton Keller here at plus 180 for the anytime goal, I think, is a fabulous way to go. Last 7 games, he has 6 goals and 4 assists with 31 shots on goal. He's on the number 1 line and the number 1 power play. So Clayton Keller, definitely someone you want to circle in this matchup. Okay, let's look. I'm just reading your comments here. Come out slow then fast. I'm seeing those. Okay. Let's look at the next couple of games. We have the Chicago Blackhawks taking on the Vancouver Canucks and the San Jose Sharks taking on the LA Kings. Both of these games we've got huge favorites in, and I don't love taking huge favorites. You guys know which one of these teams could get the upset. I don't know if either team can get the upset. I'm going to look at both of these big favorites in the first period. So that is a game plan when I'm looking at teams, especially home favorites to go up to start. So let's look at the first one, the Chicago Blackhawks versus the Vancouver Canucks. The Vancouver Canucks minus 450 on that money line. That's disgusting. Minus 1.5 on the puck line is minus 162. You can't even touch that. The total is at 5.5 plus 116 to the under, minus 142 to the over. The Chicago Blackhawks, if you think they can keep it tight, plus 1.5 is plus 134. Okay. The Chicago Blackhawks are on that hard Pacific trip. We know that this is going to be a struggle for them all the way into the All-Star break. And we look here at the Vancouver Canucks. They've won their last 2. They won that last game on Saturday versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. That was a big win, 6-4. We do have the Chicago Blackhawks rolling in off the win in OT versus the Islanders 4-3 in that last game. But I don't think they're able to score like that in this one versus Vancouver. Demko will be in goal tonight. He's got a 2.47 goals against average and a .919 save percentage. Peter Moretz here for the Chicago Blackhawks. Looking at that first period puck line for the Vancouver Canucks, laying the half a goal, it's coming in at minus 108. You can also look at the over 1.5 in the first period. That's coming in at minus 102. I look at the Vancouver Canucks, and I think both could hit. It could be a 2-0 first period or a 3-1 first period here, because we know the Chicago Blackhawks are going to start hot. They could find that back of the net in that first period by mistake by Demko. So I just look at the Vancouver Canucks and how hot they have been in their last couple of games in that first period. They had 3 goals in the first period versus the Leafs. They had a goal versus the Coyotes in that last game and 2 versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. They did have 1 game in there where that first period went scoreless, but they did have 3 versus the Pittsburgh Penguins in that matchup. So they've covered the first period puck line in 3 of their last 5 games. I do like them to be able to do that on the Chicago Blackhawks here. And again, at minus 108, I think there's value. Now the over 1.5 is at minus 122. And I would hit that as well. When we look at the Vancouver Canucks, the over under trend in that first period, the game has gone over the 1.5 in the first period, with a ratio of 30-15. So I do think it's a strong way to go with this one. Now, my only concern for Vancouver for the full game is they do have the St. Louis Blues on deck on Wednesday. So a little bit of a look ahead, as the St. Louis Blues did win earlier this month 2-1 over the Vancouver Canucks, but not enough of a look ahead where I think this could be a game where Chicago completely shuts down Vancouver for the full game. I don't think they underestimate Chicago that much in this. I would look at Elias Pettersson here for the anytime goal. He's coming in at plus 120. He's got 25 goals and 36 assists on the season. We know how fantastic he has been. He plays on that number 1 line and the number 1 power play. So I do expect here, especially when you look at the Chicago Blackhawks, their power play is so weak. They're not going to be able to convert on Vancouver, but we look at Vancouver's ability to convert. So Pedersen for that power play point is something you could look at as well, because they're only killing 76.4% of those power plays. So, and the power plays are converting at 24% for the Vancouver Canucks. So I do think it is a strong game here for Vancouver. You could look at that full period or the full game puck line, but I just don't love it. Don't love it at all. Let's look at the San Jose Sharks taking on the LA Kings. Now, Blackwood is expected here for the San Jose Sharks, and David Reach here for the LA Kings. He's got a 1.58 goals against average and a 0.937 save percentage. He did play against the San Jose Sharks in the Kings' last win versus them. That was a 5-1 win. He stopped 24-25 shots on goal. That was his season debut as well for the LA Kings. So I do expect a really strong performance out of him again in this one. We know the San Jose Sharks struggle to get those shots. They struggle also defensively. This is the first night of a back-to-back for the Sharks as well. They've got the Rangers on deck tomorrow. I really tried to find a way to take one of these large dogs and make some plus money. I just can't see either of them pulling it off. I think if I looked at either team, the Blackhawks or the Sharks, maybe more faith in the Sharks here, because we know the Sharks went on that run of being able to pull off those upsets on the road, and the LA Kings have struggled. But I think with the LA Kings struggles that we have seen out of them, they absolutely know they can't let another game go here. Their overall record on the season is 22-13-4-4. I think it's kind of the situation where they're dropping within the Pacific. They have to get these wins, especially knowing Edmonton, how strong they've been. Edmonton adding Corey Perry, like I cannot believe what Edmonton is going to be able to do. I took them yesterday at plus 950 to win the Stanley Cup. I think the Winnipeg Jets are another team you should look at being able to win the Stanley Cup, or Vancouver if you're looking at some Canadian teams there, because those three teams are incredibly hot. But looking back here at the LA Kings, they have won the last 6 meetings versus the Sharks. This team is just, they've been so all over the place that I do expect them to come out here in that first period and, really pull things together against a weaker Sharks team. So that puck line in the first period for the San Jose Sharks, laying the half a goal, is coming in at minus 118. So we are getting the value on that one. It's a hard one here because I hate taking these large favorites, but I think in the first period we should be safe. I was going to look at the Sharks team total. You guys, it's under 1.5 is plus 150. They've only scored 1 goal versus the Kings in the last 2 games. And I do think David Reach can come out and have a really strong performance here. I think if I was going to take the Sharks under 1.5 at plus 150, I'd also look to correlate that with David Reach here of the LA Kings to get the shutout. So I might put a little bit of money on that if you can get good value. I do think it's something that could come into play. They're also coming off that upset win. So the Sharks got the win over the Anaheim Ducks 5-3 at home in their last game. And so we could see them come out a little bit flat after having a strong offensive performance. We know it's the Sharks, and this team really doesn't pull a lot of things together. But I do think these huge favorite games, you look at the first period for the favorite to be able to come out. And I do think that over 1.5 in the first period in that Vancouver Canucks and Chicago Blackhawks game is in play as well, even if Vancouver gets both of those goals. And probably the LA Kings, we could see them come out super strong offensively as well to start. I wouldn't hate their first period over 1.5 either, because you just look at the Sharks and Mackenzie Blackwood and what that team has been allowing. And I do think those goals come in for the Sharks nice and quick, because this team absolutely needs to get that big win and give themselves more confidence out there. Yeah, you guys, let's catch some tickets today. So Winnipeg, Boston seems like the best under. I completely agree with you. And I really love that first period under. And I also love the no goal in the first 10 minutes. I do think the chances of that empty netter, because Boston and Winnipeg, both of these teams are never going to give up, but I think 2-1, right? So I struggle with the full game under 5.5, although I really do believe it goes under that. If something happens where we get that situation where the empty netter could come into play, I just don't want to be on that side and sweating it. So the under 1.5 first period, no goals in the first 10 minutes, I think is a killer way to go with this game. But you guys, all the best in all of your bets out there on the ice. I will be on Game Time Decisions 6:25. We'll be going over this. My best bets in this, you guys already heard all of them, but always come on over to SportsGrid. It's a lot of fun. Let's make some freaking money tonight on the ice. And if you haven't downloaded the app, what are you guys doing? Make sure you go over and check out the SportsGrid app. All links are above and below. So check it out. Bye, guys. Have a good one. Keep smiling and happy Monday, everyone.